The San Jose Sharks lose a 5-1, 5-1, 6-1. I don't even know anymore. It was a decision to the New York Rangers. It's me all by myself, slumming it up. Here we go. But of course, if you want to be part of the show, hit us up on all the social media platforms. If you want to support the show, you can help us by leaving us a super chat. You could leave us a Venmo. You could do all those things, or you can do nothing, and that's fine too. It is me, myself, and I, Ian, the Angry Canadian Robot. We are going to talk about the New York Rangers defeating the San Jose Sharks. This is going to be a short show, probably, because, again, I hate doing this shit solo, and yet it keeps happening. So here we go. Are we getting Teal Town Dangle Part 2? No, just slumming it with just me, all by myself. This is how we roll. Back to slumming it. The San Jose Sharks, really not a great game for the San Jose Sharks, obviously. I don't think they looked very good this game. I think the Rangers, let's talk about the Rangers first. The Rangers are a team that obviously this season hasn't gone the way that I think they would have wanted it to go, and they are kind of just trying to stay in the hunt for that last Eastern Conference playoff spot. They played a game in Anaheim yesterday that they I don't know if it was it yesterday? I don't remember, but it was just recently. Their last game was in Anaheim. I don't know if it was last night or not. You'd think I'd prep for these things, but clearly no. I'm going to put as much effort in as the Sharks. So here we are. Their last game was against Anaheim. They coughed up a lead in the third period. They lost that game, I believe, in overtime. Not good. Look at not good. So obviously, I think this game they wanted to come back. They wanted to have a better game, and I think that the Sharks were a team that was probably the perfect. I think if you're struggling the way that they have. This is a team that you want to beat if you're the New York Rangers. And I thought the Rangers came out and I thought they played a pretty good game to start. Jonathan Quick continues to do Jonathan Quick things against the Sharks, even at the ripe old age of 39, which, God, that makes me feel old at this point, because I feels like, it feels like the Sharks Kings series were like yesterday still. And Jonathan Quick, obviously not the goalie that he once was, but I think he's a Hall of Fame goalie for sure. When it's all said and done, I believe he signed for next year. I believe he signed an extension just recently for next year. So I think he's going to be around for at least one more year, but I have to imagine when Jonathan Quick's done, he hangs it up and he probably goes in the Hall of Fame. Maybe not first ballot, but I think you could make a pretty solid argument that he's a Hall of Fame goalie. You look at the hardware, and just like the way Jonathan Quick used to play the game, right? So few goalies when he was in his peak, could move around the bottom of the net like Jonathan Quick could. I think it's costed him now. I think that he has had injuries with his lower body, and his lower body isn't what it once was because of the way that he used to play, the way that he used to be able to play the position and the way he used to move around the bottom of the net. But a really nice game for Jonathan Quick tonight. Jerry F coming with the super chat, $2. Thanks, Jerry. Congrats to Cam Lund this game. Though, yikes. Obviously we'll get into this game. I just wanted to, I don't know. I'm just going to go on random tangents. I think that's what I do when I do these things by myself. We just kind of random tangent it up, and we're going to go to you guys. But yeah, look, at this game wasn't good for the Sharks. I don't think they looked very good to start the game. Thomas Doe, I saw the guys last night at the San Jose Barracuda game. the Barracuda had an interesting couple of days as well. Just it was not good. This game wasn't good. This game was bad. The Barracuda have been bad this weekend. Like, it's just not a good weekend for Sharks hockey. I believe that I mean, other than Sam Dickinson and Casper Haltman, things aren't going great for the prospects either. Saginaw, I believe, is down. They're down 2 games to none. I think they've let in 17 goals in 2 games. Have the Saginaw Spirit at this point. Quentin Musty hasn't played in a playoff game yet with the Sudbury Wolves. They are also down, I believe, 1 game to none at this point. I believe they play tomorrow, game 2. The London Knights will play tomorrow, game 2 of their series. Yeah, it's just not a good, not a good season. And let's talk about the Barracuda really quick here, obviously, because Tom is asking here, are the Barracuda going to make the playoffs this season? I mean, they should. They would have to go. Things would have to go really wrong. But I mean, they kind of had, though, right? Like, if you look at the San Jose Barracuda at this point, they've lost their last 2 games against the Canucks, but their blue line's been completely decimated by the Sharks. And the only guy that they have down there right now is Jack Thompson. And if Schultz is hurt, he went down to Max. I haven't seen anything updated yet, but on Twitter, Max Miller reported that he went down the tunnel in the third period. And so if they have to call Jack Thompson up now, like, it's the defense core on the Barracuda, it's barely ECHL standard at this point. Like, it's very, very, very depleted. And then you take into consideration also that they're playing, like, I liked what Gabriel Carey has done at some points in this season, but if we're being honest here, but he's still their third goalie, if we're all being honest, right? So I mean, it's the Barracuda are in tough right now. I think that them sliding now is a little more excusable when you look at what they're playing on their blue, and especially if Schultz out now, and you add another body to the IR from the defensive pool, and they call up Jack Thompson. I mean, they don't have anybody down there that's a quote unquote prospect, in my opinion. You've got guys playing on ATOs. It's gonna be tough going for the Barracuda, and their schedule isn't very kind either. They play Ontario, they play Coachella, they play Calgary. I think that's it. And as far as reinforcements go, with the Sharks having the injury problems that they're having right now, the soonest that the Barracuda are going to get all their reinforcements back is the last weekend of the regular season. So, do I see a scenario where the Barracuda could miss? Yeah, they'd have to go on quite the stretch to end things this season. And their schedule isn't kind, but there's still. Let me take a look at the standings here quick while I kind of just randomly ramble here. At the end of the day today, they finished this today. They have 73 points. The Tucson Roadrunners are the team that are on the outside looking in right now at 65 points. The Bakersfield Condors have the 7th spot at 66. So I mean, it's a 6-point difference. That's the Barracuda could lose a lot of games, and and those other teams like the Condors and the Roadrunners and the Wranglers, who have fallen off a little bit too to end the season, but like, these are all teams that can still put points up on the Barracuda. I can see a scenario where they fall out. It's going to be interesting to see what happens as far as the Barracuda go. They've lost both their games this weekend by a 5-1 score. But again, I think, like, where I've kind of been more critical of the Barracuda this season, I think when you look at the situation now where, and that, not even talking about just the blue line, right? Like, it's not even just the blue line. Paul Dorowski missed a game today and he's hurt. That's that's a disaster. So then now they've kind of lost their leading scorer. Like there's a lot of things working against the Barracuda as far as injuries on the big club, as far as just injuries on their roster as well. So yeah, long story short, could the Barracuda miss the playoffs? Yeah. And I think I'd be a little more sympathetic. I don't think John McCarthy is a particularly good coach. I don't think that they started their game particularly well today. So like, I don't know, man. Like I'm not like saying, like, I think if they miss, like, you still have to look at the way they've kind of played down the stretch to get to this point, where they didn't really put a good enough cushion of points up on the teams chasing them so that they could weather a storm like this. But this is a hard storm for, I think, any team to weather, whether it be the Barracuda or like any, you know what I mean? Like this could be a team like, I think of a team like Ontario, for example, who's right now they're second in the division with 78 points. If the Kings had a bunch of injuries and they called up a bunch of guys, like, you would expect them to kind of slide down a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the Barracuda picture. I guess we need to talk about this game though, since that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about this wonderful game with the New York Rangers coming to town. Since I kind of just waxed poetically about Jonathan Quick and then proceeded to just talk about the Barracuda. Because again, that's what I do when I ramble. That's right. It was a 6-1 game. See, I know what's going on here. Just thought I'd hit the chat here quick. If this SDP boys can come to town, can we get you in here? Yeah. Hopefully next season. That's the plan. No, like, nothing set in stone yet, obviously, so we don't know what the schedule is going to be. But the plan is that I am coming down there next season, probably next January, like the January coming. Obviously, it'll be like in 2026. That's the goal. But obviously, things have to kind of not go crazy. I'm pretty set on it. Like, it was just an issue of making sure the schedule works out and whatnot. But and the Canadian dollar can't like completely crater into the ground too, because that would obviously make things a little more difficult. But the plan is, yeah, next season, at some point. Details coming. I will come and I will say hi to everyone. It'll be fun. So let's talk about this game. Because I've put it off long enough and we've gone almost 13 minutes now without me actually saying much about the game. I mean, I don't know what to say about this game, man. Like, I don't think the Sharks came out. They didn't look very good when they came out. I thought that the Rangers did a good job of really controlling the zone a lot once they were able to get into the offensive zone. I think they did a good job of basically forcing the Sharks to become tired. Rob saying burn the tape. That's what I would do after this game. I think it's a burn the tape game for sure. Artemi Panarin opens the scoring. Artemi Panarin's so good. He's a guy who's like still quietly like, I think, the Rangers, it's funny because like the Rangers, and maybe it's because I don't care about the Rangers as much, but I just feel like there's guys on some teams that until you watch them again, you forget how good they are. And Panarin is definitely one of those guys where it's like, he's good, but then you're like, oh yeah, he's still he's still crushing 30 goals a season at this point. He's like 33, right? Yeah, I mean, he scores twice in the first period, and I don't think I liked I don't think the second goal by that Panarin scored. I don't really think there was much Georgiev could have done there. I think Macklin was definitely in his eyes. And they did a good job. Like I said, once they got in the zone and they kind of controlled the zone, they did a good job of setting up screens and making the Sharks kind of chase the puck around right now. And Jesse saying the Rangers run through Panarin right now. He has 20 plus more points than anyone else on the team. And that doesn't surprise me, especially given the season that they've had. But it's just funny, because you see a guy and it's like, oh, wow, this guy's actually really good. you just forget. Like, I think especially when you only see teams a couple of times a year, and I haven't really watched the Rangers this year because I don't think their storyline of this season, I think, has been incredibly compelling. Just the way that they've gone from being this, they went from being this dominant team in the Eastern Conference. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals last year to this year where they obviously make some changes in the locker room that didn't fly well with the team. So I think the drama has been interesting to follow with the Rangers, but I just don't think they've been that compelling of a team to watch. But yeah, I look at the first period, I thought was pretty much all Rangers. The shot clock kind of bears that out. They outshot the Sharks 14-5 in the first period. And, not a great game. In the second period, again, I think it's more of the same, right? Adam Fox gets his 8th of the season. It's another situation where, again, I think the Rangers did a very good job of, controlling the zone once they got in there and they got the Sharks chasing things around a little bit. And you give Adam Fox the puck where he got it. Again, like I don't think Georgiev was fantastic tonight, but I don't really fault him for this because, again, I think you give a guy like Adam Fox the puck where he gets it and he's going to bury it every time. And he did, and then the third period, things kind of go super off the rails. Like, again, and I think like the Sharks probably played better in the second period. I think the second period was probably their best period, which I don't think says a lot this game. But the third period, the New York Rangers really poured it on. Johnny Brodzinski scores a goal. Adam Fox gets another one where Miller kind of gets one and it squeaks through Georgiev, and then Adam Fox is there to clean up the garbage. And then you think, oh, there's a power play. So you want the Sharks to maybe try and break this Jonathan Quick shutout. And I think, again, Jonathan Quick had such a good game tonight too. Vincent Trocheck, of course, scored shorthanded, but then Cam Lund, playing in his second NHL game, gets his first NHL goal, which is nice because I think that his line specifically, they got hurt tonight a lot. I think that the Rangers really did a good job of containing that line that he was on, but they put him on the power play with Colin Graff and Will Smith, and he breaks the shutout for Jonathan Quick, and the Sharks will go on and again lose this one 6-1. So I mean, obviously, big congratulations to Cam Lund getting his first NHL goal. I like Cam Lund a lot. I'm excited to see what he can do as he gets a chance to play some pro hockey now. I think he's going to finish the season with the Sharks, but I do wonder if next year, it's going to be interesting to see next year who makes the team and who doesn't. I wouldn't be shocked to see Cam Lund spend some time with the Barracuda next year, but it's always nice to see, especially when you have family there and stuff, to get your first NHL goal and to see the family's reaction. That's always super fun. So, and Rob saying if this wasn't a back-to-back, I would have gamed Georgiev. I don't think the Sharks were good in front of him though. Like I am not a Georgiev guy, but I don't think that given the way the Sharks played, you're going to get much better out of Georgi Romanov at this point. I don't know. I mean, you could have, but I just think you let him wear it. It's not really, I don't think it's fair to him. I don't like it. Again, I'm not a big Georgiev guy. But I don't think that you could really just blame this on him. I think the Sharks are pretty flat in front of him. He didn't do anything to try and steal them the game. I will say that, but I don't put this at his feet. Nando asking a great question. Is Lund available for the CUDA playoffs? No, he is not. The reason is that because of, so the way that this works, right, is if a guy signs, if the guy finishes college and then signs like an ATO, then he can play in the playoffs. But the second you play on the NHL team, because he's played NHL games and because he was not on the Barracuda roster at the trade deadline, he is not eligible for the playoffs. So he gets to start with the Sharks. He gets to do his thing here. But unfortunately, yeah, just because of the way that that works, and that's why a lot of guys you'll see sometimes if they don't have a plan for them to start on the big club right away, they'll have a situation where they'll sign an ATO instead. If he had signed an ATO and just played on the Barracuda, then he would be eligible. But because he has already signed his ELC and he is playing on the Sharks, he is not eligible. It's just a weird quirk of the way the rules work. Is Cam Lund similar to Musty? Similar, like similar player? I don't know. Let me. Chef, if you can give me the, if you can just clarify what you mean by similar playing style. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of Cam Lund play, but I think that he's, I think that I think there's definitely similarities, but I haven't seen enough of Cam Lund play to really say for sure. But I think that they do have a similar scoring touch for sure. But I don't. I'm not going to pretend that I watch all this college hockey. I really don't. So I kind of just defer to other people. I think Cam Lund's, or I think of the two, I think Musty's the guy with the higher ceiling. Just based on what I've seen smarter people than me say. But I think I think there are some similarities to their game for sure. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean that was the game. I don't know. I will let you guys kind of just hit me up in the chat here. But I don't. I hate these solo shows. I think I've done them fine, but they're not something that I'm super comfortable doing because I feel like I just have to say a lot of words and not really say anything, just so that I feel like we're we're being good for people and not giving the people that don't catch this live and don't have the option of interacting, and the ability to have to just kind of listen to me ramble nonsense words in their car is probably not fun. So I will leave it to the chat for a little bit, and then if the chat is quiet, then we will probably wrap this up pretty quick. So programming note, because the game tomorrow is late for me, who is on the Eastern time zone, I will not be on Pucknologist tomorrow. I don't know who's sitting in my chair, but Pucknologist will obviously follow the game tomorrow. Who are they even playing tomorrow? The Kings? Who are they playing? Yeah, they're playing the Kings. Yeah, so because that game starts way too late for me to be on, someone else will be sitting in my chair on Pucknologist tomorrow, which will be a takeover, which will happen after the San Jose Sharks play the Los Angeles Kings on ESPN, no less. There you go. There you have it. So that will be the game tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, see, Ricky. So again, Ricky says Lund is a shooter, Musty's a lot more dynamic, and I would I can again I haven't seen Lund play enough, so I will defer to other people who have, but that's my understanding of it as well. So I don't know, guys. That's it. I don't know, man. Like again, this is unfun. I hope everyone enjoyed the crossover the other day. Michael Johnson, always like hearing your takes, and I like giving them. I just like giving them in a way where I don't have to fill a lot of, where I try not to make dead air by saying a lot of nonsense. But I do appreciate the support. I hope everyone's enjoyed the content this week. I did not know that the Dangle crossover thing was even a thing until I found out about it the day after. So that was cool. I hope everyone liked that. I hope everyone hits us up tomorrow after the Kings game and enjoys the takeover with AJ and whoever AJ gets to sit in my chair. Maybe the last time we play the Rangers with Peter Laviolette as the head coach. Yeah, I mean that's going to be interesting, right? I think there's a couple of coaching things that's going to be interesting to happen to see who's going to kind of get fired and who's going to move on, because it's always a thing that happens, especially now. I feel like coaches are getting fired at like just record rates right now. And Rob pointing out that the Rangers win puts them in the second wildcard spot in the East, which is true. I can talk about the standings for a minute. Let's do that. For those interested in the playoff races, like this East playoff race is pretty interesting because it's kind of like last year, where like last year it was kind of exciting, and then it got to the point where it was like everyone just started losing at the very end here. So you look at the points, it's fascinating because again, the Rangers are in the second wild card spot with 77 points, but everyone has games in hand on them. The Rangers have 74 games played. So the Canadians, Blue Jackets, and Islanders all have 2 games in hand, and the Red Wings have a game in hand. So it's going to be, I'm fascinated to see how this winds up. I think the Rangers being in there now is a little bit of a mirage, but again, like it's hard to bet against a team that has Igor Shesterkin in net. And also you look at all the other teams, like the Canadians have lost 3 in a row now after for a while, everyone was kind of saying it was their spot. The Blue Jackets have lost 1. The Islanders have lost 2. The Red Wings finally won tonight, but they've been really bad after getting off to that hot start with Todd McClellan going behind the bench. They peeled off a bunch of wins and then nothing kind of happened. So the Eastern Conference wildcard race is going to be fascinating. I think the Senators are probably pretty safe at this point, although stranger things have happened. But again, but they're a team. They're with 83 points. They're pretty safe, I think. A lot of these teams, like there's no team in here now that Montreal has kind of went on their little skid. There's no team that's I feel is really hot enough to threaten the Senators at this point. But we'll see what happens, man. And just let's talk about the wild card in the West quick, which the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild. Kind of sitting there. This feels a lot more sewn up than the East, though. The Calgary Flames have kind of sputtered now. They're 7 points out. Although they do have a ton of games in hand on both. They have 3 games in hand on the Blues and 2 on the Wild, so maybe they can get back in it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, though, man. Should we do a tankathon? Let's do a tankathon. And then let's get the hell out of here. All right. The last time I did this, it was absolutely cursed. But we're going to do it anyway. So let's share a screen. How is Calgary so good, man? I don't know. Dustin Wolf has been really good for him. I think that he's probably going to get some Calder love. He should get some Calder love. Yeah, I don't know, but they have surprised me because I thought they would be not good. All right, so let's run the almighty tankathon and see what the hell happens. Last time I did this was cursed. Let's hope it's not cursed again. Here we go. Oh, there we go. See, not cursed, except for the Rangers moving up into the second. Jeez. Oh my God. Wow. All right. Yeah. You know what? This is not cursed. All my favorite things are happening here. I mean, the Rangers getting a pick, whatever, but the Chicago getting bumped down. I like that. I don't think you can get much better than that sim. So we're not going to do it again. All right. Yeah, man. Dustin Wolf's been fantastic for them. Absolutely. Let's remove that. Oh no, I don't want to be like that. There we go. Maybe that. All right. I am going to get us out of here, though, because again, this is super uncomfortable for me. So we are going to get out of here. But of course, if you missed this, if you want to watch this again, if you want to leave me a message in the YouTube comments to tell me to stop doing this shit by myself, do it. If you're watching live, you haven't hit the like button. We appreciate that you do. It helps us in the algorithm. If you are watching on YouTube after the fact, again, leave us a comment. Again, leave me a comment. I always read them. I don't always respond, but I do always read them. So if you have any constructive criticism or thoughts on the show or ideas, whatever, feel free to leave them. If you are listening on an audio, if you would be so kind to leave us a 5-star review, that would be awesome. But I mean, be honest. If you think this is a 2-star podcast, I mean, it's a 2-star podcast. I'm not going to argue with you. But yeah, I mean, other than that, though, guys, I super appreciate everyone bearing with me on another solo show. I'm hoping that this will be the last one of these I do this year. But, people got lives, man. People got lives. It's what happens. So aside from that, I do want to thank everyone for being here, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Pucknologist tomorrow takeover following the Los Angeles Kings and San Jose Sharks. We will see you then. Good night.